the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm going to give you guys a bit of a tent review video on a new product from Vango. So this here is the Vango Osiris 500. So the Osiris 500 is basically sits in Vango's new Earth collection, and the sort of story behind the Earth collection is basically the material itself has basically been remade from single-use plastics. So they've recycled the material itself. So what Vango really sort of managed to do is something they've done about 10 years ago, a little bit before its time in many ways, but they've managed to find single-use plastics, sort of bottles or anything like that, and turn that into material. Question is how they've done it. It's kind of a hidden secret a little bit, but essentially you can take a bottle like this. All you essentially will then do is make that into chippings. Chippings then get sort of through a process and it screws itself into thread. The thread then gets woven into fabric, and the fabric then into the tent. So that's kind of the cycle we've got going on, which is brilliant. It means that it's an eco tent, something that's really not really cost an awful lot to the environment to be made, from sort of the manufacturing side of things at least anyway, and it's using, you know, what would necessarily go into the tip or been thrown away and really giving it a real life. So it's gone from rubbish to holiday in many ways. So it's a really great concept. And for example, this tent to use would be if you took 144 bottles. That's what's in this. So I've kind of tried to represent that now from I've nicked our coffee shop stuff. So that goes into that, which actually, to be fair, I thought would be an awful lot more. But it shows you, you know, maybe a week of, wow, you know, sort of the green council bins. 2 of those sort of full up with sort of plastic bottles would pretty much build a tent. So imagine we do that across the whole country, it'd be a big, big thing. Not only are you sort of kind of maybe pay a little bit more, not a huge amount more, for the eco story behind it and the way it's been made, but you actually get more spec involved. So if you compare this to sort of else Vango have in their range, something like the, I don't know, like the Alton, for example, you've actually got a better spec fabric. So it's a 70 denier, 3000 millimeter hydrostatic head waterproof rating, but it's got colour lock, so it's got a high resilience to UV sunlight. The material's going to sort of look brighter for longer and last a little bit longer than their sort of active level fabric. But in my opinion, I think the Moroccan blue looks absolutely stunning. It just looks premium. And I think what you also benefit from is not only so much the appearance of it looking more like premium, but you've got premium features on there. Rain safe canopy door, so you can, if it rains, you're not having the water come in when you walk in and out. You've got mesh on the front and the side, so it's probably one of the best it's probably, yeah, the best vented tents that Vango do that's small size, because in ratio to kind of size versus where the vent panels are, there's an awful lot. One on the side, one on the front, one on the other beneath the window, you know, and at the back as well. So, you know, it'd be a lot cooler on a warm day. I think it's almost like, to be many ways, sort of the perfect tent you would take to something like Glastonbury. You know, it's eco, it's all very fitted in, but it's, you know, good quality. You know, it's going to last length of time. Really easy to pitch. I mean, this model I pitched on my own the best part of about 10 minutes. And you can check out our own Attwoolls pitching and packing video, shows you how quick, simple and easy it really was for me to do that. And that means you can take this away for a week or even a weekend and quite happily have enough space to sort of have, you know, a family of 4 or even a 5. But I personally see myself, I'd take this away quite happily, and I'm definitely going to have one as soon as we get them in. Other things, you've also got fiberglass poles, and simplicity, like the main sort of poles in many ways are all the same length, so it doesn't really make a difference on which order they go in. Obviously the brow canopy is a little bit different, which is obvious from size, so you can quite clearly tell that. But crystal clear PVC windows as well gives obviously light inside of the actual tent itself. And what you also find is that you've got privacy curtains as well, so you can seal it all up. The front big here, you've got a nice big sort of mesh window, and there's a blind behind it to sort of get it where you need it to as well. High visibility guidelines means obviously more obvious where the trip hazards are, and obviously won't completely eradicate people going ass over tit over them, but it gives you a bit more of an idea. The front door as well can almost double up, so you can buy some additional king poles. And there's little eyelets in the corner. Little eyelets sort of located down in the corners. Get that open. Just kind of there. So by additional king poles, you get 2 poles. Also, you find that what you can then just do is get almost like make a little mini canopy. So pull that out, and then you've got a little canopy there as well. Obviously, zip up the the old door scenario. But it gives you that little bit more extra space, so on a day when it's a bit sort of warm and you want either sort of shelter from the rain or almost just shelter from the sun, having that almost like a little sun canopy works really quite nicely. And then when you don't want it, all you essentially do is just kind of roll it up. And then all of a sudden you've got this kind of open front. There's even small little things like the fact that the lip down the front here, it sort of kind of toggles up and toggles down, so you can really kind of make it a bit more of a less of a trip hazard going in. So for small kids or certainly drunken adults, it does make quite a bit of difference that you haven't got any sort of trip hazard straight in there. But let's bring the camera inside now and talk through a few more features that the Osiris has to offer. So now we're inside the Osiris, you can kind of see a bit more for the internal space you've got in here. Like I said, I'm about 6'2", and I can stand up in the middle quite happily. Immediately when it gets to the corners, it is doze off a little bit. But the mass majority of space you've got in here with the tables and pushed up in the corner or chairs, you've got a good amount of room. And like I said, you've got the ability to sleep 5. You've got a 120 and a 180 bedroom width, 2 meters 10, so there's quite a good amount of depth in there. But I see perfectly, almost like a family of 3 would be ideal for this. You know, you've got mum and dad bedroom and the kids got a bedroom as well. But if you want to bring friends along, you can actually do that. I'd say definitely more of a comfy 4, a perfect size 3, or a fairly squeezed 5. It's not the difference. What you see also is in here as well is obviously you've got a nice dark bedroom. So it's kind of Vango's nightfall bedrooms. So a bit of a darker material hopefully means that you're not going to wake up at the crack of dawn when the sun comes out, and hopefully the kid stays in a bit longer so everyone gets a better night's sleep. But 3 poles we saw nice and easily, and a good sort of depth on the canopy. You know, it's sort of the main living area. You know, it's a great depth, good sort of width that you can happily have a table and chairs in here and still be quite comfortable on a night. The curtains, I said, obviously around the front are in one bit panel, so it's nice that you can do both in one section. Means that it's less faffing around with small individual curtains. You roll them all the way forward or roll them all the way back. The curtain on the side has sort of 2 kind of toggle up positions, so you can take it sort of halfway or fully up to the top to get the maximum amount of privacy. So there's toggle points located kind of here, like so, or you go fully up to the top, like that. So that might just leave that there, just because I can. Beneath this window here, you've also got a ventilation panel. So you've got a low-level ventilation panel down there, which is quite nice. Actually, now I'll go halfway, sort it. There you go, change my mind. Go halfway, leave it like so. Also, we talked about trip hazard at the front, which is a big thing. The ventilation point on the front and the side door means you've got airflow coming throughout everywhere, but also the ability to seal it up when you want to. You've got a hanging point for a lantern as well, so quite nice and easy. And there's little Velcro tabs leading down to a cable entry point down the bottom here. So it means you have your mains hook up inside the tent quite happily. You also got the ability probably to have it partially through the door on this side as well. If, for example, the mains point is on the opposite side, that way you can face the tent exactly where you want it to be. You benefit from Vango's TBS system, which is tension band. So it gives almost like a triangular kind of formation inside, so it's like internal guy ropes. So it means on a windy day, you can pop those in, a bit more stability. Something they use in the high-end backpacking tents, but kind of filter into all the tunnel tents. Like I said, if you've got wind coming from that direction, it just keeps its internal shape and means that you've got an extra little bit more strength in your arsenal. Then when you don't want to use them, which is probably most of the time, you just put them back in its little pockets in the corners and you're good to go. It's something I don't see an awful lot of people using. Like I said, 95% of the time they probably don't use it, let alone know it's there. So, but it's a keen thing to have and not need, and need and not have. In the bedroom section, you've got a divider, a toggle divider between the 2 sections like you see there. You can take that in or out as you please. And what you can also do is remove that across so it's almost dead down the middle. So you've got a perfect sort of 50-50 split in the bedroom scenario. You've got little storage pockets on each side internally as well, so you can put things like your keys, your phones, or even sort of a torch, so when you're waking up in the middle of the night and need to go to the loo, you can easily and happily find it, not trying to scrub around in the middle of the dark. Again, mesh window on the side here, that rain-safe canopy door, means that if it starts to rain, you still have ventilation coming through. Admittedly, you probably seal the front up in that case, but having that versatility that if it does rain, you can walk in and out in here without having to worry about it. But let's pick up the camera now and have a bit of a wander around the tent on the inside to familiarise ourselves with it. So, like I said, when you come inside of here, you can kind of get obviously a bit more of an idea for the visibility, but you've almost got almost like a 360 view kind of looking around throughout it, because especially with that window halfway, it means if the kids are on the campsite, you can actually more than happily check out where they are. And when you come into the bedroom section, you can kind of get a bit more of an idea for the depth inside of here. In the dark bedrooms, we've got a mesh panel at the back as well, allowing air to flow through, and at the top as well. So it's all about sort of creating a circulation of air to sort of help fight condensation. Storage pockets, like I said earlier, they're located there quite happily, and you've got ones either side, so again, some on that bit. But that's a really nice, generous bedroom when you've got a divider across the left as you see it now. Low level ventilation point we've got down there, as well as the little zip with the little tie. So you have the mains cable coming in, and then we've got Velcro tabs, and then the hanging point for the lantern as well. But overall, I think like a really, really nice tent. It looks incredibly sharp. I think it's almost like that kind of, I wouldn't say classical design, but kind of more classical modern, should we say, design, but with more functionality. That rain-safe canopy door on the side is a big thing. So it means that you can actually enter a doorway in this kind of design when there is when it is raining. And obviously the whole kind of eco story with the reused sort of plastic fabric, that makes a big, big difference. But I think it just pitches, sits, and looks really, really nice. I think, to be fair, it's going to be a big winner, and I think it's something that we're going to see more and more throughout the years, kind of tents be made of this kind of eco fabric, just because it's less than harmful on the environment and kind of the way things go, and everyone's trying their utmost to be kind of more efficient. But really popular model. There is also an air inflatable version of this which you can check out on our YouTube channel, which we've done a separate video on. But I think it's going to be a bit of a winner for the 2021 season. So this is the Vango Osiris 500 in the Pold. For more information, check in the link below, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel.